So recently, Crunchbase calculated that fifthwall was the most active investor by dollar amount in climate tech businesses. And I think commensurate with that, fifthwall has also probably become the most sought after investor in the climate tech space. As a co-founder of the firm, that is something for which obviously I'm incredibly grateful and around which I'm just incredibly proud, especially because we didn't have a true climate tech strategy as recently as 2019. That was the genesis of our strategy. And so, I guess the question, we as a team ask ourselves is like, well, why were we able to kind of come onto the scene, I guess, in the climate tech world with such momentum and such force? And I think there were really three things that underpinned the success we've had in the last 4 years. The first was just latent demand, which is we've talked a lot about the fact that real estate as an industry is the single largest industry lever the world can turn on mitigating climate change. It's where 40% of emissions come from. It is where 40% of raw materials go in the world. And so while there's lots of funds, or at least there had been historically lots of funds that were focused on agriculture and transportation and the utilities industry, there were really none, and I would say outside of fifthwall, there aren't many that are expressly focused on decarbonizing the built environment. So naturally, I think when our fund launched, there was just a lot of demand. There was a lot of latent demand from climate tech businesses that depended on distribution to the real estate industry. The second thing that I think was really instrumental in our success over the last 4 years is practice, which is that, fifthwall started as a firm focused on proptech, really software for the real estate and construction and hospitality industry. And we built this reputation as a firm that, because of all of our strategic LPs, because of this embedded distribution we have to 115 of the world's largest real estate owners, we could rapidly accelerate their revenue growth, and we could rapidly accelerate these companies. And that takes practice, that takes hard work. You have to make a lot of mistakes doing that. And so we kind of earned our stripes in the proptech funds. And by the time we launched our climate fund, we had that muscle memory, right? We had done that many times over. And so I think we were able to very quickly, get into many of the most sought after climate tech businesses, including like Our Next Energy in the stationary battery space, because of this capability we had, which was very hard won for fifthwall as a firm through years of running successful proptech funds. And the last thing is brand, which is our proptech funds obviously are branded fifthwall, as are our climate tech funds. And I think the reputation we've earned, which has also been hard won with proptech companies as a firm that can be incredibly value add, that carried over. And we were the beneficiaries of, that brand, that reputation, that goodwill, that trust that we had earned in proptech in climate tech. And I think the combination of those three things, obviously this latent demand for distribution to the real estate industry, where in the climate tech space there were no funds that were expressly focused on that, paired with our brand and our muscle memory, really allowed us to kind of spring onto the scene and, very rapidly establish ourselves as one of the most sought after and most active climate tech investors in the ecosystem. I think what's exciting though is, while we're really proud of this, there's just so much more to do. I mean, this is a generational opportunity in front of us. And so this is a cool, I think, way to celebrate the success we have had, but also look forward to how much there is yet to do, and hopefully how many more climate tech businesses we can invest in and accelerate the growth of.